In May 2017, a cruise ship operated by P&O Cruises, embarked on a 7-day journey from Brisbane to New Caledonia. What began as a dream holiday quickly turned into a nightmare when the ship encountered severe weather, believed to be the remnants of Cyclone Donna. Passengers described a scene of chaos and fear. Furniture overturned, meals slid across the dining room, and seawater flooded some cabins. The rough seas forced the cancellation of 2 port visits, much to the disappointment of those on board. The difficult conditions and disruptions left passengers feeling frustrated and let down. Many described the experience as a cruise from hell. The incident sparked outrage and led to a class action lawsuit against Carnival Corporation, the parent company of P&O Cruises. Following the troubled voyage, a group of disgruntled passengers decided to take legal action. They filed a class action lawsuit against Carnival Corporation, alleging that the company had failed to deliver on its promise of a relaxing and enjoyable cruise experience. The lawsuit claimed that Carnival was negligent in its handling of the situation. Passengers argued that the cruise line should have been more prepared for the possibility of rough seas and should have done more to mitigate the impact on those on board. They sought compensation for their ruined holidays, citing disappointment, frustration, discomfort, and distress as a direct result of the cruise line's alleged negligence. The lawsuit sought financial compensation for the passengers, aiming to hold Carnival accountable for the negative impact the experience had on their holiday and well-being. Carnival Corporation denied any liability for the disruptions experienced during the cruise. The company argued that their ticketing terms and conditions clearly allowed for itinerary changes due to unforeseen circumstances, such as adverse weather. Carnival maintained that the safety and well-being of their passengers and crew remained their top priority. They asserted that the decision to modify the itinerary was made to ensure this safety, given the unpredictable nature of the weather conditions they encountered. They also highlighted that the voyage was planned with the reasonable expectation that it would proceed as scheduled at the time of departure. Carnival believed they had acted in accordance with industry standards and their contractual obligations to passengers. In February 2025, after years of legal proceedings, a settlement was reached between Carnival Corporation and the passengers. The cruise company agreed to pay over $2.4 million to settle the class action lawsuit. Under the terms of the settlement, each passenger received nearly double the price they paid for their ticket. With the median ticket price being $944, passengers each received an additional $900 in damages. The lead applicant in the case received a further $2,000 in recognition of their role in representing the affected passengers. Legal costs were capped at $1 million, leaving approximately $1.2 million to be distributed among the passengers after deducting fees and taxes. Section 5. Upholding consumer rights. The settlement of this case is significant for several reasons. Firstly, it reinforces the rights of consumers under Australian consumer law, particularly when it comes to services not being provided as promised. Despite Carnival's reliance on their ticketing terms and conditions, the court recognized that consumers have certain expectations when purchasing a service, especially a holiday experience. The settlement sends a message that companies cannot easily evade responsibility for failing to meet those expectations. It also sets an important precedent for future cases involving similar disputes between consumers and the cruise industry. The case highlights the potential for passengers to seek and obtain compensation for not only the financial cost of a cruise, but also for the emotional distress caused by a significantly disrupted holiday. Section 6. A case of disappointment damages. The case was particularly influenced by the landmark case of April 2020. This case established the concept of disappointment damages in Australian law, which allows consumers to seek compensation for the non-economic loss of enjoyment and mental distress caused by a service provider's failure to deliver the promised experience. The settlement further solidified this principle. It demonstrated that disappointment damages are not limited to luxury or high-value holidays, but can also apply to more standard cruise experiences where the enjoyment and relaxation promised are significantly compromised. This case serves as a reminder to the travel industry that consumers have the right to seek compensation for the full impact of a failed holiday, including the emotional distress caused. It is a significant win for consumer rights within the context of the Australian legal system. Section 7. Expert Opinions. Legal experts have weighed in on the significance of the settlement. Victoria Roy, a lawyer specializing in travel law at Victory Travel and Cruise Lawyers, emphasized that the outcome empowers passengers to assert their rights and seek compensation for both the tangible and intangible losses suffered due to a cruise line's failure to deliver on its promises. This case sends a clear message that cruise lines cannot hide behind their terms and conditions when they fail to provide the experience they advertised, said Ms. Roy. Passengers have rights, and this settlement proves that they can and should fight for them. The settlement serves as a reminder to the cruise industry that they have a responsibility to provide safe and enjoyable experiences for their passengers. It also highlights the importance for passengers to be aware of their rights and to seek legal advice if they believe they have been unfairly treated. Section 8. Implications for the cruise industry. The case and the resulting settlement are likely to have lasting implications for the cruise industry. Cruise lines may need to reevaluate their compensation practices and consider offering more generous remedies to passengers who experience significant disruptions or disappointments during their voyages. This case could potentially lead to an increase in cruise prices as companies factor in the potential costs of future lawsuits and settlements. However, it could also encourage cruise lines to invest more in preventative measures, such as improved weather forecasting and more robust contingency plans, to minimize the risk of similar incidents occurring in the future. Ultimately, the case highlights the importance of clear communication between cruise lines and their passengers, especially when it comes to managing expectations and dealing with unforeseen circumstances. A transparent and proactive approach to customer service could help to rebuild trust and confidence in the cruise industry following this high-profile case. Section 9. Conclusion. Navigating the future of cruise travel. The Cruise from Hell case and the subsequent $2.4 million settlement serve as a stark reminder of the complexities of the cruise industry and the importance of consumer rights. While cruise holidays offer the allure of adventure and relaxation, they are not without their inherent risks. Passengers must be aware of their rights and the limitations of cruise line liability, as outlined in ticket contracts. Documenting any issues or disruptions during a cruise can be crucial in the event of seeking compensation later. The case demonstrates that passengers can and will hold cruise lines accountable for failing to deliver on their promises. As the cruise industry navigates a future potentially impacted by climate change and other unforeseen challenges, transparency, fairness, and a commitment to passenger well-being will be paramount in maintaining consumer trust and ensuring smooth sailing ahead.